So the client was a fast scaling e-commerce brand, and they honestly hit a wall with SFMC. When we started seeing the campaigns, we found out that the journeys were rigid. Even the smallest tweaks like subject line, copy changes required effort from the development team. On top of that, we found out that it took them like 3 to 5 days to take a campaign live in SFMC, and also there were things that were constantly getting delayed. We also found that there were no real-time triggers, no adaptive journeys. So everything was just batch and blast. Their segmentation was also very clunky, and SFMC as a tool is actually less intuitive when it comes to the UI UX because it's quite old.
Yeah, so I'm sure that all of this would have actually had a more serious impact on their business, right? Hi there. If you're running Lifecycle or CRM campaigns in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and if you've started to wonder how much these slow launches, development bottlenecks, and clunky tools are actually costing your business each month, you're going to want to watch till the end of this video. Because today we're going to be sharing a real case study with you. It's the story of our client, but it's not one of those highlight reel videos. We're going to be breaking down the hidden costs that they were living with, how much revenue they were leaving on the table, and the exact steps that they took to turn it around so that you can replicate the same results on your own setup. So this client is a high growth e-commerce brand, and we've helped them migrate from SFMC to Braze. And all of this happened in just 90 days. And within those 90 days, they were able to cut their campaign launch time by over 80%. They doubled their cart abandonment revenue, and they boosted their open rates by over 38%. But I've invited our Braze expert, Sarthak Banta, who has led this migration from start to finish to share this entire story with you. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am Risha Bharathan. I'm the agency growth partner here at Mavlers, where I lead our video content and social strategy. And Sarthak is our CRM strategist. He is the maverick and the expert and the brains behind this transformation. Sarthak, welcome. I would love for you to share your introduction here.
Thanks, Isha. Hey everyone, I'm Sarthak. I'm CRM strategist at Marvelous. I have spent the last 7+ years leading CRM transformation brands like Supertails and Braze agencies like Massive Rocket. I have certifications in Braze, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Adobe Campaign, and my job here is to make sure that your tech stack isn't just looking good, it performs well. And the migration we are discussing today, it's actually one of my favorites because how fast it was executed and the results it delivered.
Great. So before we dive in, for those of you who are watching, if you've ever been frustrated with campaign delays or development bottlenecks, drop a quick comment below. Let us see how many of us are actually in the same boat. So Sarthak, let's just dive right in. Why don't we start with a backstory? Where was this client at before the migration?
Sure. So the client was a fast scaling e-commerce brand, and they honestly hit a wall with SFMC. So when we started seeing the campaigns, we found out that the journeys were rigid. Every campaign update meant that they needed to change something on the AMP script, which meant that they need a campaign developer or data developer for all serious tasks, all serious changes on the account. Even the smallest tweaks like subject line, copy changes required effort from the development team. On top of that, we found out that it took them like 3 to 5 days to take a campaign live in SFMC, and also there were things that were constantly getting delayed on that tool. We also found that there were no real-time triggers, no adaptive journeys, no personalization in real time. So everything was just batch and blast. And because the marketing, tech, and the analytic teams were working in silos, the data team actually didn't have any visibility how the campaign is performing and what they need to update or change to make sure that everything is working fine. Their segmentation was also very clunky, and SFMC as a tool is actually less intuitive when it comes to the UI UX because it's quite old. and to see a clear performance, it's very difficult. And we also don't have like real-time user behavior available on SFMC.
Yeah, so I'm sure that all of this would have actually had a more serious impact on their business, right?
Yes, 100%. So the team was frustrated when we met them because the engagement was flat. But the bigger issue was financial. Those delays, limitations were actually costing them tens of thousands of dollars every month. The cart abandonment revenue was stagnant at like 48K a month from more than 6 months. And when we ran the numbers, it was clear that staying on their current tool, which was SFMC, is costing them more than to set up and move to another tool.
Got it, got it, got it. So, okay, we've established that they needed to make a change. But then we have so many CRMs out there, right? Out of all of these platforms, why did we end up suggesting Braze to them?
See, Risha, whenever we want to suggest any of the CRM platform or marketing and automation platform, we generally look at three big things for the client. For this particular client, the first thing that they needed was to send campaigns in real time, right? SFMC can technically do that, but the setup required a lot of effort from the development team and also the engineering overhead. But in Brains, since you can trigger campaign in real time, and it's much easier and the marketing team themselves can do it on their own, it actually made a lot of sense for them to move to Braze. Secondly, they needed a marketer friendly user interface. Why I'm saying this, SFMC is actually quite technical. Even small changes require developers effort, someone who understands the technicalities well. Whereas Braze has like more intuitive UI UX, the canvas has like a Visvic editor, and it's completely visual for anyone who is using it to build and adjust the journeys without touching the code. Now, finally, the third thing that we actually looked at was ability to experiment quickly. So Braze allowed them to do deep integrations with their CDP. The client was actually using Segment as their CDP, and the reporting layer was Looker Studio, which is easily integrated with Braze. And so that meant that they could launch, test, and see the results much faster, iterate without waiting for weeks for insights. So they could experiment much more in much faster fashion and then improve the campaigns. So if we pull all of these three things together, you can see how they were able to be more agile, they could improve their targeting. And the key point for them was the marketing team could finally operate without any support from the engineering team. And Braze wasn't just a better platform. It was a platform that could stop the revenue and sort of pay itself in months. Plus, they already heard positive feedback from other retailers and D2C brands about Braze. So it was a no-brainer option from them, really.
Yeah, I can see that because look at all of the benefits that it was giving them, and the fact that there are people who are recommending it also, then I think that that trust also builds in it, right?
Right.
Okay, then Sarthak, let's like get into the actual migration. Can you walk us through the process, how it looked like from kickoff to going live, what that entire process looked like? How did we structure it?
Okay. So generally, when we get a migration project, we divide them and broke them into like four phases, and we also provide a timeline when we want to achieve all of these four phases. And this depends on the client, the kind of work, the kind of integrations we need to do for them. So since this is a migration project, it completely depends on the conditions for the project. For this client, we provided them 10 weeks of time, and we divided, as I said, it into four phases. The phase one was audit and architecture, wherein we mapped the entire client's entire SFMC setup, wherein we look at the legacy data models, the personalization logics, their ARM script logics, all the journeys that they were using, all the triggers that they had already in place. That way, we could reimagine the data as a smarter event-based flows in place and Canvas. So this was phase one. And once this was done, we moved to phase two, which was data and profile migration. Once we have a basic understanding, we had like a clear picture how they were doing things in SFMC, where what are the data sources, where the data is coming from, what is the frequency. Now we wanted to make sure that it is configured, set up correctly in Braze. So we migrated all the data and profiles from SFMC, the legacy systems, to Braze. We also set up custom triggers, behavioral events, which were important for setting up journeys in the later stage. So this was phase two. Phase three then was then migrating their campaigns and rebuilding the canvas. So here we rebuilt like 8 core journeys for them. This included welcome flows, abandoned cart, re-engagement, and more. We use custom events, behavioral triggers, Liquid for personalization in this space to make sure that all the journeys are same, looking similar, have the same logics built in Braze that we had in SFMC as well. The final phase was QA and enablement. So before we take anything live, it's a process that we rigorously follow. We have like a QA and testing process wherein we test everything test everything, see that everything is set up properly, all the personalization fields are populating, all the emails are rendering properly on all devices. So this is a big phase for us. We do a rigorous testing for all the campaigns that we take live. So this was the final phase before this project was ended. So in these 4 phases, we were able to migrate all the campaigns, all the trigger campaigns, all the journeys that were made in SFMC to Braze. See, Risha, the key here is we didn't just lift and shift from SFMC, we built Braze native features. So the end result was much faster, more agile, and truly marketing owned.
Brilliant. Well, then tell us, when it comes to this entire build, right? What happened after that?
Sirisha, a great build is useless if the teams who have access to Braze or the teams who are using owning Braze doesn't know actually how to use it. I mentioned before also enablement was a big focus in this project. So firstly, we had to create a custom UAT checklist to validate every journey, every trigger, and every data connection end to end before anything went live. So we had like a proper documentation for anyone and everyone who wants to, who is working with Braze, who owns marketing at the client's team. And then we delivered like a full sort of enablement kit, which included editable HTML templates, fallback messaging logics, connected content documentations, clear step-to-step guides. So all of this were present in this kit. And I also remember we did like 2 live workshop sessions for the marketing team, for the tech teams. Our goal was to ensure that each group could have like a hands-on experience, get practical experience on their own environment. And when on the final day, by the launch day, they shouldn't be asking, how do we send the campaign? We wanted them to already have like all this information on sending campaigns, all the information about the data, because that's the goal, right? The level of full ownership from day one.
Absolutely, because otherwise it's just like one dependency. For instance, how you were telling that, their dependency on the engineers, it would just have been like that dependency would have been translated onto another dependency, and we don't want that. So, yeah, of course, it makes sense that we went ahead with this. Now, I would love for us to talk about the meat of this whole case study, right? The actual numbers and the results. Would love for you to walk us through that.
Okay, so we actually had quite some wins in terms of both in terms of operational campaign wins, and even we able to increase the business revenue for them. So the biggest win I think for the client was speed. You see the campaign launch time was dropped from 3 to 5 days initially in SFMC to like 1 to 1.5 days, which is like a 80% reduction, which is a great step. Then, in terms of campaign metrics, our open rates actually went up by 38%. Basically, they were at 19% in SFMC, and now we are sitting at on an average of 26%, which is a huge increase as well. Then even the cart abandonment revenue went up from 48K a month to 92K a month, which was like a 91% increase. Let that sink in, a 91% increase in just a single campaign. And that's not all. And by the way, this jump was not just luck or something like that. We were able to actually increase the revenue using Braze features like real-time abandonment triggers, personalization based on category affinity, and also the cart value. One thing you should also remember that they also decreased the dependency for the developers to almost zero, which was really high earlier. Another thing was a bonus for them was that the platform cost for SFMC was actually higher, which was around 7.5 grand a month, and Braze was lower, which is around $6,000 a month. So this itself saved around 23% on their overhead. And when you add it up, faster launches, better engagement, lower cost, and nearly doubling the cart abandonment revenue, then you will see that the cost of staying put would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars in loss of revenue in the next year alone.
That's huge, Sarthak, because that's like every business owner's absolute dream, right? Faster launches, higher engagement, more revenue, lower cost. That's every owner's absolute dream, and we were able to do that.
Exactly, better journeys create a better experience, and this better experience lead to better revenue. So that's a model that we have, like that's a model we generally go to, and this is what we have in mind when we are strategizing for any of our clients. And now that the team has like the full control, they are not stuck waiting on tickets, waiting for the development team to actually uh, make changes for them. They actually enjoy working on the platform. They are much more agile. They are doing many experimentations for the content and segmentation. So this is really helpful for the team.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you so much, Sarthak, for joining us and for breaking down everything so seamlessly. So, for all of you who are watching this video, here is your bottom line. If you are stuck on a legacy platform, suppose you are like stuck with these kind of delays, or you're experiencing the same underwhelming results that our client was experiencing, you know for a fact that you're not alone. Our client was in the exact same spot as you. But every month that you are waiting to sort of fix it and take things on your own, take that time is costing you far more than the actual migration itself. It's costing you in the lost sales, it's costing you in lost speed, it's definitely costing you in lost opportunities. But you have heard it over here how the right platform and a clean migration plan, how it is able to unlock faster launch cycles, how it's able to unlock cleaner data, whether that's better personalization or even more revenue with that lesser overhead, that's what the right platform can do. And even for our client, remember, they did all of this in just 10 weeks, right from the audit to the full team enablement. Now, listen, if you have got the internal bandwidth, if you've got the internal skill, you have everything that you need to take this process internally and run it yourself. But in case you are short on bandwidth, if you don't want to risk performance during the migration, we are here to help you. At Mavlers, we've delivered over 2,000 Braze campaigns. We've built thousands of canvases and we've helped over 50 brands fully unlock that platform across their strategy, their automation, and their growth. We've also worked across industries. So whether that is retail and e-commerce or SaaS and fintech, we've worked across every industry that you can imagine. So for you, that means that we know exactly how to shape Braze for your unique lifecycle needs. So whether you need specific expertise for one piece of this puzzle or you want a full team to handle this entire transformation, we are here to make that happen for you. Just use the link below to explore our Braze services. Or better yet, we have also linked our no obligation call link that is going to get you straight to our sales team. And this is a space for you to talk about your project without any kind of obligation or pressure. We can Just talk about what is actually possible for you given your existing tech stack. And as we've already told you, we are not just a Braze partner. We are platform agnostic. We're here to help you with whatever CRM that you have. And if in case you are in that place where you are just considering Braze, we're here to help you understand how well that can work for your business as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. We're going to be seeing you in the next one.